Hello and welcome everyone to this webinar where we're going to look at rugby at Swansea University. Thanks for your time this afternoon. I can see a lot of you logging in, so appreciate you joining us this afternoon. My name is Roger Davis, and as part of my role at Swansea University, we look at sports recruitment and marketing. I know sport is a huge decision for a lot of you when you're choosing a new university. So we want to make sure that the course that you're going to choose is right for you, but also the sports program. So we're very fortunate at Swansea University. We've got a lot of sports to choose from. We've got 55 sports. So the opportunities are enormous, and we're going to concentrate on Rugby Union this afternoon. So with me this afternoon, we've got Siwan Lillycrap, who is the head of rugby at Swansea University. Not only the head of rugby, Siwan is currently the Wales Women Rugby captain as well. So she's an inspiration to our students and everyone at the university. So I'll pass over to Siwan, who will introduce you to the programme, talk a little bit about the programme, what it's about, and you will also have an opportunity to ask questions. So there'll be a Q&A box, so just type your questions as you go along, and then at the end of the session, we will try and answer as many of those as possible. So please feel free to drop them in the Q&A. So without further ado, I'll pass over to Siwan, who will take you through the presentation and go from there. So thanks, Siwan.
Thanks, Raj. Hi everyone, and welcome to our webinar Open Day talk today. I'll just give you a whistle-stop tour kind of an overview of sport at the university before concentrating on rugby in a little more detail. And as Roger said, if there's any questions as we go along, pop them in the chat function and we'll answer them all at the end. So as Roger said, kind of introduced me, I'm Siwan Lillycrap and I'm head of rugby for the university. I oversee the men's and women's rugby programs, and that is from high performance down to participation to engagement. So anything rugby at the university, I will oversee and make sure that we're delivering the best possible rugby program for our students. I'll introduce you quickly to Hugh Gustafsson as well, who's heavily involved in our university rugby program. Hugh is our men's high performance head coach. He's an ex-Ospreys player, ex-pro player, and played for Wales under-20s as well. So also got a wealth of experience in rugby. And he is now assisted by James Hook, who's our attack coach for the university. So, we've got some real quality coaches embedded in our rugby program to really give you the best rugby experience as students at the university. So just a little bit about our facilities. We've got access to first-class facilities here. Our location is right on the beachfront, so it's a major attraction. Active outdoor lifestyle here at the university. And at Swansea University, sport really does matter, and we are always striving to better our programs and give you the best opportunities to excel in your sport. And if you're committed and ambitious, then Swansea really is the right place for you. That's just an overview, a little image of our sports village. So you can see there, it's quite a big site, and this is where all of our sport mainly takes place, and this is where we embed ourselves mainly for rugby. So you've got an 80-station university gym here, the sports centre. On the left-hand side above the Astros there, you can see our indoor training centre. The Wales National Pool, 50-metre pool and 25-metre pool is based on this site. The squash and tennis, you can see the athletics track clearly, and we've got our rugby pitches just below the athletics track there. You can see the bottom of your image, and 2 water-based Astros. So that's just to give you a little brief overview of our international sports village. This is our gym. This is the commercial gym at that sports village, where we've got treadmills, and as you can see, there's lifting platforms, dumbbells, all the way up to big weights. And a bit of everything there. This has turned into more of a functional gym of late. So this is where many of our students go and train, but there's also another gym on Bay campus. This is a quick little look at our indoor training centre. As rugby, we will do a lot of speed work here. with our S&C coaches. So sometimes we're embedded in here into speed, into a bit of reactional stuff, etc. That's the national pool. That's the indoor sports centre. And this is the strength and conditioning gym, the shed we call it. So this is where all of your rugby team sessions, S&C, will take place. As you can see, there's a big functional area. Astro's in the middle, where we'll run prowlers and sledges and stuff like that. And then you've got your racks on one side, but also your watt bikes and your conditioning equipment on the other side as well. So, you know, we're in here as high performance rugby 3 to 4 times a week, but also our other teams will also get access to this gym, like our thirds, etc., if they want to run ad hoc team sessions to get every individual up to speed and give you new ideas that you can take away and use in the gym. That's the outdoor athletics track. And this is just a little image of our Bay campus facilities right on the seafront there. And just wanted to highlight, really, obviously we're speaking about rugby union today, and I'm guessing you're all on the call because you're keen rugby players, but you know, you might want to engage in other sports whilst you're with us as well. So, you know, many of our players at the university, for instance, might want to engage the keen skiers or snow riders or snowboarders and want to engage in the snow riding society and go on a couple of trips a year with them. So, you know, you're not just tied to rugby union. If you want to trial something else, then you've got the opportunity to. As Roger mentioned earlier, we've got over 50 sports now at the university. So we compete on a weekly basis in the British University College of Sport, and as an overall whole, as a university, we last finished the year before last, unfortunately due to COVID, there's been no sport this year, 18th out of 154 universities, which is, you know, a great result for us, and we're really climbing up the rankings as an overall successful university in Bucks sport. To highlight a couple of alumni that's come through the university, you know, there's a couple of big rugby players on there. You see Alan Wynne-Jones obviously just been named as Lions captain, and a couple of other big names have graduated through the university. Here's a couple of partners that we work with, and this is the partners of the university. So as you can see, a couple of rugby organisations on there. We work highly well with the WRU on a number of projects. We've got a great partnership with the Ospreys on Scarlet. Also, we work closely with Swansea Rugby Club, which is our Premiership side, which is right on our doorstep. Sports and exercise science is a big course within the university, and many of our rugby students actually study this course. But as you can see as well, there's a lot of research and collaborations that happen with our sports and exercise science with other national bodies. But again, as you can see, rugby is a big dominance there with Osprey, Scarlets and England Sevens. So moving more on to rugby specific stuff, and this is why you're all here. Our men's first team play in the Bucks Super Rugby League, which is the top league in the Bucks leagues in rugby. So we got promoted there a couple of years ago, so we compete in that league now. We've got 6 men's teams across all competitions, 2 ladies and 2 freshers teams as well that compete in various competitions. The end of the year, we accumulate the year by playing in the Welsh Varsity match, which I'll speak a little bit more about later on. And as you can see, I've spoken a bit already about Scarlets and Ospreys, but we've got strong partnerships and relationships with both regions, which is really exciting. So how our rugby management works, you've got myself as head of rugby, you've got Hugh Gustafsson, who's head coach, and I will head coach the women's side of things. We've got 2 assistant coaches, one with the men and one with the women. And as I mentioned earlier, James Hook is one of those assistant coaches now. We have 2 S&C coaches, one embedded with the men's high performance program and another embedded with women's high performance program. And we've got 3 physios that oversee our club, that will be our training sessions and our games, and deal with injuries, rehab as appropriate. We also, through our partnerships, are very fortunate that we get numerous guest coaches come along to help us deliver areas of expertise. So those are maybe a little bit of an old photo on the top right there, but the below one is more recent with Richard Fussell delivering an attack workshop up in the Ospreys training base. Here's a little snapshot of what our high performance rugby program looks like. So it is an intense program. We run an academy-like setup and program to give you the best opportunity, if you're an aspiring rugby player, to be as successful as you can when your time with us. Our aim is, as a rugby program, to hopefully get you a pro contract or a rugby contract when you leave the university. But if you don't manage that, then you've got a good degree in your back pocket. So it truly is dual career path, and we don't like to affect academics. So, your education is just as important as your rugby. So all of our programming is scheduled around that. So that's why we work early mornings and in the evening. So Monday morning, we'll have skills and gym. So in S&C and skills workshop. And then in the evening, then, as you can see, the high performance rugby program kicks off at 6. But rugby throughout the club starts from 7 o'clock. And there's a schedule that will run all through the evening. On a Tuesday morning, for the high performance group, there will be a captain's run early in the morning, just for half an hour, to clarify things ahead of Wednesday. There will also be captain's runs in the other teams on a Tuesday evening. Wednesday is game day, and then we'll have recovery protocols on a Thursday, and then back to Friday morning, which will be gym and skills, so with the S&C coaches, and then on the pitches with the coaches on a Friday morning. And then we run an analysis in the afternoon. That might be remotely via Zoom, or it might be one-to-ones for your own individual work-ons with the coaches. On the weekend, then it varies. It depends on your commitments for rugby outside of the university. Some players might play for some semi-pro teams or are based in academies, or we might embed you with one of our other clubs that we work with to get you game time. If not, there will be sessions that we'll run on a weekend, but that varies week on week. But Monday to Friday always stays the same. Similarly with the women, we go gym before pitch. So we have our S&C on a Monday evening, 6:30, followed by pitch, and then captain's run Tuesday morning. Club sessions also Monday night, Monday evening, Wednesday's game day, Thursday recovery protocols, and a similar setup to the men on a Friday. Skills and S&C, followed by analysis in the afternoon. So just to have a little look at our vision and what we've achieved so far. So I've been in post a few years now, and we set a strategy and a vision, and one of those was to get promoted into Buck Super Rugby within 3 years. We did that within 2 years. So we were promoted 2 seasons ago and managed to sustain Super Rugby status in our season of 2019 to 2020. Unfortunately, there was no leagues run this year, but our next step in our vision is to get top 6 into BSR and promotion, and for the women, promotion to national leagues. So sorry, I didn't mention the women then. It was promotion into Premiership, which also we achieved in 2 years, and to sustain that, which we have sustained. So our next steps as a programme is the men to get top 6 in BSR and the women to get promoted to the Women's National League. And the main point for us is, our philosophy is person player focused, and we're going to develop you as individuals, as rugby players, so you can be the best player you can be. Obviously, we want to be successful on the field, but our main aim is we look after you as an individual and develop you. So we will continue to support our elite players and all players across the board to allow you to be the best player you possibly can be. We've had many players represent Wales under 20s over the years. We have many players represent Wales women. In the recent Women's Six Nations, we had 5 alumni represent, which is outstanding in a 32-person squad. We've had Welsh students competitions happen in 15s and 7s. We've had many players representing both of those, and many players play within Premiership clubs. So we spoke about our partnership with the Whites, but we've also got players playing for the likes of Aberavon, Carmarthen Quins, Llandovery, and across the board. So in those images there, you see The top image there is Morgan Jones, who's playing for Scarlets. Morgan studied with us for many years, graduated last year, and has just recently signed his first pro contract with Scarlets. And Morgan was in the Scarlets Academy whilst he was with us also, but for him to now excel on and get representation this year for the Scarlets, first team, but also now gain his first pro contract is a huge success. You also see Brandon Wood on there, who Brandon represented Welsh Sevens last season before COVID, and actually went on a couple of World Series legs. Brandon was never part of a regional academy or actually part of any age grade rugby, Welsh age grade rugby before that season, but from his performances in Buck Super Rugby and his time with us at the university, he really shone and had the opportunity to represent Wales Sevens, which is outstanding. The photo on the left-hand side is a couple of the guys and girls representing Welsh Seven students, who always have good representation there. And then Natalia John, who was one of our graduates of late, comes to the university, hadn't really played rugby before, but now is a prominent force in the Welsh women's rugby team. We do run some sevens at the university, and we've had 2 trips over the last 5-6 years to China. So we always compete in Bucks Super Rugby, Bucks 7, sorry, and we've done well in that tournament over the last few years. But we also offer our students great trips and get great cultural learning in the opportunities that we've had to travel to different places in China and really develop rugby and compete in rugby over there. This is a program we're keen to continue developing as a university and continue to improve our Sevens program at the university. The Welsh Varsity, I've gone one step too far. We play against Cardiff University every year. It's the second biggest varsity after the Oxford-Cambridge Varsity, and it's the biggest student event in Wales. We play 40 different sports throughout the day, and accumulates in the men's rugby fixture and the women's rugby fixture before. So in 2019, over 16,000 fans watched the men's and women's games at the Principality Stadium. So unfortunately, over the last 2 years, due to COVID, we haven't been able to run this event, but we're looking forward to being able to kick this off in Swansea next year. This is a little video that is actually on our website that gives you a bit of a taste of what the Welsh Varsity is like. So I won't play that now, but I wanted to show you that video that's on our website. And finally, this promotional video, our high performance rugby video, is also on our website, which will give you a bit more of a flavour of what I've just spoken about. It's a snippet really of everything I've just said in a video with some great rugby on show also. So finally, if anyone's got any questions, please feel free to drop me an email. That's my own personal work email. If you drop me a message on that, if there's anything that you think you've forgotten to ask today, or if anything crops up over the coming months that you might want an answer to, please feel free to always drop me a message. I'll go to the chat function now and answer any questions that have been submitted.
Thanks, Stuart. That's a great insight into the programme, and it's been fantastic for the last couple of years to follow the success really of the programme, and it really is becoming from strength to strength, and to see the teams playing in Buck Super Rugby against the best universities in the UK is fantastic. And if you're not familiar with that setup, it's a really, really good competition, and some fantastic players have come through that and are now in the English Premiership, a lot of them, and into the Welsh region. So it really is a great programme. So I've sent the questions to you. I'm not sure if you can see those. I'm happy to read them out. We got a ton of questions come through actually, which is great. Really good engagement. First one here from Jay, which is a great question. I'm thinking of studying at Swansea University and want to carry on with my rugby career while studying. I would like to know what sets you apart from other universities' programs like Cardiff Met. Thank you.
I think, thanks, Rog. I think, our programme is probably very different to Cardiff Met. kind of met probably a little bit of a different university. What makes us unique really is the, when I look at the men's high performance rugby squad now, I've got students studying engineering, medicine, some doing sports science, some in the business school doing management. So we're a diverse group, but we're different because our rugby program is probably pretty new in the university, whereas Cardiff Met have been running one for some time. Cardiff Met are also part of the Welsh leagues, so they compete in the Welsh Championship, whereas we allow our students to go and play for other clubs, whether it's their home clubs or in their region. But everyone is unique in their own way. So some will be embedded with us, but some will play for Whites, but also us. So everyone's treated differently. But from a programs perspective, we probably both run academy-like programs now, but our program's newer. So we're probably learning a little bit more as we go along, but it's probably a little bit more personalised than potentially a Cardiff Met program.
Good question. And I think as well, geographically, we are smack bang in the middle between the Ospreys and the Scarlets. So we're really lucky in that regard that we work closely with both of those regions and they're on our doorstep. So we're really lucky in that regard as well. Question here is coming from Harry. When and where is training? I think you covered that within the presentation. This is recorded as well, by the way, so if you need to go back and check or take a screen grab, then feel free to do that.
Yeah, just on that point actually, Rog, so you might be based in Bay Campus living when you come and study with us, but there's buses that transport from Bay Campus to Singleton Campus throughout the day, so it's never an issue, and there's always a good group of freshers in our program. Our first year students live in Bay, they'll all commute together, so you won't be kind of on your own there. But yeah, we'll base our main rugby program at the sports village, but there's buses that come to the site that is accessible for all, really.
Next one here from Tom. Is there any pre-season training, and if so, how does that work? Obviously it's been a little bit different for the last couple of years, but on a typical season, how does pre-season normally work?
Yeah, so pre-season we'd look to come back 8 weeks before our season begins, and because we now compete in Bucks Super Rugby, our season kicks off a little bit earlier than normal. So we'll be kicking off our season end of September, hopefully this year, and our pre-season games will start first week of September. So generally what we'd look to do is get our students back middle of July, so we have a good block of time with you guys before season kicks off. So that is also important for us now moving forward in the COVID world, that return to contact and everyone is functioning in a safe environment before the season kicks off, because it might have been some time since individuals have played rugby or done contact. So we're planning for hopefully a good pre-season this year to get everyone up to speed and on a level playing field before our fixtures kick off.
Great, we've got one coming here from Jemima. I think you may have answered this already, but I will be studying on the Bay campus and not sure about how to get to and from training and matches. How do students normally manage this?
Yeah, I think, as I said earlier, like there's buses that go back and forth. Some high performance students will also have their cars for flexibility, but the public transport there is easy to use, and also going to away fixtures, we pick up on Bay on the way out of Swansea anyway. So also there's pickups on Bay campus.
Yeah, fantastic. We have a question here around COVID, and just on that, obviously the university will do everything, will follow the national governing bodies guidelines and university guidelines. So we will follow the protocols in that area. And as soon as it's safe to return to sport across all sports, the university will be doing that. So obviously we haven't got a crystal ball, but with the vaccine rollout going well at this present time, hopefully by September next year, we should be in a more normal time where we can carry on with activities. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that. There's one here from Christian. What is the player development like? Are there opportunities outside of uni rugby with the clubs? Again, I think you've mentioned that there are huge opportunities locally with local clubs, as well as with the regions as well, and the links that we've got into there.
We're really fortunate, as you mentioned, Roger, that we've got good links with both regions, but also clubs within those regions. So whether that's Llandovery and Scarlet's region, or Swansea Whites, or Dunvant, or Mumbles, we've got lots of good clubs on our doorsteps that we'll work with. So if you haven't got a club in the local area, but one, we can link you up, and we've got good partnerships and relationships there that it could work for you as an individual again.
One from Jack just asking about the Scarlets and the Ospreys. I think we've covered a lot of that as well.
I just like on that, as you said, Roger, we're really fortunate actually. We've got Scarlets is probably 7 miles one way, and we've got Ospreys, which is 5 miles or 4 miles the other way. So they're both on our doorstep, and we've got great partnerships with them both. So we both work collaboratively and to benefit us both. But it really gives our students an opportunity to be in a shop window of 2 regions, and we've seen that success happen. My Morgan Jones example over him gaining his first pro contract, and deservedly so, but also players being picked up that might not have been from the region, but also how we tap into their knowledge as well and expertise as regions. So it's a mutual benefit to all of us. So we're really fortunate in our positioning and the relationships and partnerships we've got with both of them.
Cool. We've got one here from Harriet. I was wondering if I joined the women's rugby team, is nutrition and the gym workouts provided for each member? I really want to improve my fitness and become a better player. So any advice would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, Harriet, like mentioned in my presentation, we've got 2 S&C coaches and one embedded in each of our men's programs and women's programs. So George is actually our women's S&C coach at the moment, who also helps the squad with nutrition and guidance there over knowledge really, and understanding over what type of things we should be eating, or recipes and ideas. But he also obviously runs our conditioning program and gym programs, and we've seen huge benefit of that over the last few years in the development of our girls as athletes, individuals, and how that then transforms onto the rugby field. So that will continue. Girls are in the gym at the moment 3 times a week. In pre-season, we might be looking at putting that up to 4, but then when we're in the mix of the season, that might be twice. But we'll periodize your program, and there's truly an opportunity there to physically develop as a rugby player. Cool.
Just scrolling through. One here from Joe, and this comes up quite a lot actually. Will there be any trials, and if so, when? And generally, how does the trials tend to work?
There will be. Not so much a trial, but you sign up when you arrive in arrivals fair, freshers fair weeks. I'm not sure how that will look in the coming year, but we will then run a 2-day kind of event. We've transformed it over the last few years actually into, instead of it just being a trial game, because it's really hard to play rugby with people you don't know and actually show you true potential. So we kind of run skills carousels as a bit of a training session first, so the coaches can really see your individual skills broken down, and then we'll go into like a 30-minute game at the end, where hopefully you've trained with everyone for a little bit first, and then can demonstrate. Then you'll just be split into training groups, but there's fluidity there. So once you're in a training group, it doesn't mean you're stuck there. Over that first couple of weeks, month, people will transfer up and down. So there'll be a 2-day kind of shop window, everyone looking, training kind of event. But then once you're in training groups, there will be fluidity and players go up and down. I'd give the example really of Josh Moore, who's our men's first team captain now. When he actually came to the university in his first year, he was embedded in the 5th team. And then throughout that year, obviously he shone and went and played for the seconds. And then in his second year was playing first team rugby, and then was captain of the first team in his 3rd year, and is now doing a master's with us. But Josh has also had A-League representation for the Ospreys and has really shone through. So that's a little example of how players have transferred successfully. Yeah,
fantastic. I think this answers this next question around I aspire to be a secure a professional contract within rugby? Could you outline the opportunities? I think Josh there is the perfect example to use of someone who has come through the system, as you know, has done really well, has come through playing Buck Super Rugby, and then has been picked up by a professional region from that point. So that you know, the pathway is there for players to develop through. And yeah, that's a fantastic example there with Josh. Do you offer scholarships? I'm happy to pick up on this. In terms of the university, yes, we do. The scholarships cover all sports. We're really fortunate as well to have a TAS, if you will, career accreditation, which means that the university is geared up to support elite athletes in their endeavours. So students can carry on playing sport at a high level and do their academics as well alongside it, and for both of them not to suffer. So we've got full-time members of staff looking after that programme, and the support that they get, you know, is crucial for these elite athletes. So that's a little bit about the TAS programme, but also scholarships are available. There is a monetary reward as well as perks like free parking permit, free gym use, one-on-one S&C support and things like that as well. So the application for scholarships is at the end of March normally. It will reopen for a window of about a week or so around the clearing period as well. So if you are looking at scholarships, have a look at our website. You'll be able to read more about the opportunity there and around TAS, and keep an eye on the deadline. Like I said, if you've missed this first deadline, there will be another one around about the A-levels results week. I think we're starting to come to the end of the questions. Thanks everyone for submitting these questions. Really great questions, by the way. There's one here from Jacob. Does the fact that I am a first year affect my chances of playing for the first team?
No, absolutely not. Actually, we're probably, you know, one of the universities that gives our first year students the best chance at playing Buck Super Rugby, and that's maybe because our program's new and we're developing as well. But you know, if I look back to the season before last, probably 30 to 50% of our first team was actually first year players. So we do try and give everyone an opportunity. Our coaches will watch second team games. If you're not selected, you know, you will play down and you perform down and you'll come up. So it absolutely doesn't affect your opportunity at playing first team fixtures. And you know, we believe if you're good enough and you're performing, that you will have an opportunity.
Fantastic. And I think we're on to the last question. This is really interesting. We're actually coming from Dimitri. I haven't played rugby in my life. I'd love to apply and try. I'm 6'2", 105 kilograms. I've been doing kickboxing for the last 13 years, but I thought to switch a sport and try something new. Can I get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got the right genes there, but yeah, no, absolutely. As I said, we've got 6 men's teams, so there's opportunities for everyone to play. You know, you won't be thrown in the deep end. You know, there's you know, some skill development and just learning a little bit about, you know, contact and the basics of the game. But if you're a kickboxer as well, I'm sure you're physically developed. But yeah, opportunities for everyone to play and engage. So absolutely, sign up when you arrive, and we'll look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, perfect. I think that kind of summarizes the university's approach for sport. Really, it's a sport for all approach. You know, we've got beginners all the way through to high performance, so we can cater for everything. So yeah, no matter what level you're at or level of experience, there's always something there for you. And as we mentioned, there is a pathway as well to progress through as well. So with that, again, I just want to thank everybody for your time this afternoon, for joining us. We've had some really great questions. Thank you, Siwan, for giving your time to explain a little bit about the programme as well. So as I mentioned, this will be recorded. It'll be up on our website. So if you need to catch up, please do so. But with all that being said, hopefully we'll see a lot of you in person over the next few months. So thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.